So we added the texture behind our base, behind our base objects or our drawings. I did quickly neaten up my work area here, so I put everything into groups, made it much more easier for me to navigate. Once I added the texture, I just added a little bit here and there. I did add the shadow, so I added the shadow, added some of the details onto it. So I just went back in and I just shadowed the outside of the rocks where I feel like they'll be casting off shadows. I added some silhouettes just to give it a little bit more character. But you guys will have a little bit more time just to go in and add in the details that you need. Alright, so now that we have this, we need to add some color. So what I prefer doing is just to color pick from the reference images that I'm going to use. That's if you're going to use a reference images. If you don't, then you can just go in straight and add the colors. So we can just quickly look at the references that I have. Alright. So don't be shy to go back and look for additional reference materials because I think I might go in. So I'll probably want this blue to be somewhere on the buildings. So I'll save that in there. And I probably want like a reddish ground. So let me see some of the red ground. So I like that image. So I want to capture that red pastel color. So I'll save that. And I'll also add that to my reference images. Alright, so I'm just going to Control T to make that bigger, make that smaller. Okay, so this is a good starting point. Before I start, this is optional, but what I want to do is just set the background color. So I want to have a gradient background, so I can kind of imitate how Pascal Blanche's work sometimes does have this type of gradient. And so I want to add in that gradient. So I like this green, so I'll color pick that. It's like a greenish turquoise blue. And actually I'll go more down here by the moon. So I like that color, green. I'll put that in my background layer. Then I probably want a bright yellow to be right at the top. So I can't find it there. I'll quickly find some reference materials that I can probably color pick from. So it would be much more better if you have all your reference materials out before you actually start sketching. It makes your life a little bit or a lot easier. But yeah, it just depends on your workflow. So I like that yellow. I'm just going to save that as well onto my reference. And this reference layer I would delete it at the end, so I don't need to worry about how much it will slow down or take in terms of rendering time or saving time or file size. So I would delete this before I actually save my file. So I like that. I've picked that, and I can hide my reference images again. I want to create a new layer for my background, and what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use a gradient tool, so you can just quickly add a gradient for me. So whatever colors that you have in the foreground and the background is what the gradient will be adjusted to. So what I would do is just go onto, it's where the paint bucket tool is. I'll right click it, I want to select gradient. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit, and what I'll do is just click from the bottom to the top, and it will automatically set the gradient, but I want these to be in reverse, so I'll click from the top to, click and drag from the top to the bottom. Yeah, so I prefer it like that. So I'll just leave that there. I'll work on that background again. I might add a huge moon at the back. But now we want to get to adding some colors within our grayscaled object. So I'll quickly rename this to my BG color. I'll just leave that as that. Then above all my grayed out or my blocked out objects, I want to create a new layer. So the first layer, we want to create like a base color. We'll carry on adding color. So what we want to use is change that layer into a multiply layer. So that allows us to add color without painting over some of these details. I'm going to go back onto my lighthouse so I can actually, or my rock, because I'll start off with the rock, then I'll let you guys carry on. So I'll just start off with my rock, I'll expand that file, and all I want to do is select the block out on its own. So I'll go to Magic Wand tool, and what I'll do is use the quick selection, quickly select the block out, and I'll go back to my color layer here. Go back on to open up some reference, and I wanted to use this red. So I'll go into my brush tool, which is B, hold on Alt from a color picker, I'll pick that color up, close that, and I'll just fill my color layer here, G, but I want to change it back to my paint bucket instead of the gradient, and I'll just fill that color. So that's just your first step. So we'll say that's your base color. Then we want to make this color a little bit more vibrant. So the first layer was a multiply layer. We want to create a new layer on top of it, and we want to say base color 2, because I don't have any other words I can name it, but name it something that you can identify. And we want to change that into a overlay layer. So this will make our image a little bit more vibrant. What I do like to use when I am adding in some of the color, I prefer just a standard soft brush, but you guys have an option of whatever brushes that would work for you. Expand that. So I'm just going to color in the section that I just want to just make a little bit more bright. Alright, so that looks good so far. I just need to add a highlight area there, and I just need to clean up this corner a little bit there so it makes my life a little bit easier. So I'll deselect that. Just so the colors doesn't clash, I want to clean this up, so I'm just going to use my my quick select tool, and I just want to go onto my lighthouse layer. I'll expand that, and I'll quickly select my base object so I can just delete that or just recolor that. So once I've selected that, I can close my lighthouse layer. Now I want to erase from my base 2 and my actual base color. I just want to erase that. I'll go back to the erase tool, and I just want to take that out, and that's so it doesn't interfere with our later colors that we'd add. So I'll just leave that as that. Alright, so that looks a little bit cleaner. The last thing that we'd want to add, we want to make sure that we can add a highlight. So with the highlight, we're going to create one more layer, and this layer we can leave it as normal because we can actually just create a nice highlighted area there. So it's nice and white. We can edit it up, so it's almost as if the light is hitting the object. So I'll just change that into a white. Just add a nice hard line there, and I'll just add splotches of highlights as I go. So I can re-edit that. I'll just erase the aspects that I don't really like, but I'll use a soft brush. Alright, so this is just a process of you just going and editing and doing this over until you've gotten to your desired look or style. And sometimes if you change it to a soft light, it does give you a nice highlighted edge like that, which is fine. But I want this to actually be a little bit more vibrant, so I want to keep it on the normal settings. I'll change the opacity just a little bit, but I just want to keep that, and I'll edit that until I find something that is more pleasing to me. Alright, so this is where I'll leave you guys to be. So you want to add your first layer, which is changed to a multiple layer. Or want to add your second base layer, which is on an overlay to make your image more vibrant. Then you want to go back into just a normal layer. Now we can touch up your image. So as much as I've used the normal layer to add a highlight, you can make your image a little bit more vibrant from here. So I'll let you guys get on with that, and I'll just quickly fast forward the video. I'm just going to finish off adding all the colors, the same method that I used to the tower, and we'll touch base from there.